welcome back to the McCormick Convention Center, home of the Chi-Town Boys Challenge. All across this massive convention center complex, all you can see is volleyball nets and boys teams playing. It's a beautiful sight. Growth of the boys game has been exponential here in the last few years. Super excited to be riding this wave. C2 1-0. They beat Northern Lights in straight sets in the opening pool play match today. Now up against Colorado Elite. We've got 2 streams going out today. I'm testing our YouTube stream at the moment. And I'm not sure if we're getting any sound or not. Yeah, there we go. We've got audio. Yay. All right, so we're checking audio. We've got that going. If you can't stand the sound of my voice, I won't be offended. You can also grab our Huddle stream, fan.huddle.com. Search for C2 Attack, 17-1 Elite. That's also good advice in case the YouTube stream crashes. You just never know. Riley gets the party started. Nice swing. And C2 Attack with the 1 holy shit. Hockey mushrooms. A bit outside. I'm told we have poor connection quality on our Huddle stream, so if you're on that and you agree, then maybe check out the YouTube stream. Started off inauspiciously with Jukai and Riley getting a little tangled up on the platform bass, but all's well that ends well. 3-1 C2 in the early going here. Riley blocks that back with the recycle coming. That's blocked back and recycled out of bounds. Point C2. Oh, it's hot! I'm not a stranger here myself, so I'm not sure. Feedback appreciated. Anytime you say C2, do you have to say attack also, or can you abbreviate? Sorry, what? Where are you on, Belcher? Riley takes an aim at the Colorado bench. And while oddly satisfying, not terribly productive. Colorado Elite back to serve. They trail by 2 at 2-4. We're in the first set. Second of 3 matches today from the McCormick Center. On the oppo swing down the line. You better be careful. He's going to get himself a right side job. He's been hammering from the oppo pin today. Serving 2. On the struggle bus a little bit. On the jumpy in the early one. Went with the float there. I don't know if that was the plan. A little bit of a quizzical look from coach. With the jump float, records the ace, so nothing succeeds like success. the timber and out of bounds. Point Colorado, 3-7. Mentioned on the earlier telecast, probably made the difficult decision to switch clubs this year. So, been fun seeing those guys and the parents and so forth, catching up with them. Things going pretty well for Louisville volleyball, so glad to see it. Jakai bangs that down. 8 serving 3. Big top spin there. Free ball. Nice dig, but no dill. That's over and out. Point C2. Roger Wilco. Nine serving 3. Big country with a top spin. That one ends up in the net. Point for Colorado Elite. They'll serve trailing by 5 at 4-9. Big high swing. I don't know if that was going high hands, but probably opens up. Let's have one set pass. I don't believe any hands were harmed in the swinging of that last ball. All right. 10 serving 5. Nice one. Finds the seam and finds the ground. Ace. Oh, damn! Friendly fire! Never turn your back on him. Jakai with some unfriendly fire. And a point for C2. They lead 12-6. Coach Tua, Jakai's mom, has a bit of a grin for him as she comes over to give him the serving instructions. Nice wristy snappy there. Their best case was going to be an out-of-system free ball. Turns out the best case did not manifest. (13 serving 6). C2 attack on a rampage. Jakai follows up a blistering ace with, well, a blistering ace. And what pairs well with 2 aces? Well, a third ace, that's always nice. 3 aces for the Brigham Young commit, and that's enough, says Colorado. Let's stop this over. Timeout on the floor. Both teams have sauntered back onto the court. Sakai back to serve for C2, 15-6 lead. Took a little off that one. Still going to be a free ball, I believe. Now, it was actually a nice attack on a out-of-system swing. Back row swing for Sakai, though, and a nice sell out of the middle. That was well done. 16-6. Wicked serve by Sakai, and then Riley takes that offhands out of bounds. Another point for C2. I was just actually sitting there reflecting on how many weapons C2 has at its disposal. Oh, a misfire, but right into the bench as if to just send a little more dollop of fun into the mix. 10-point lead for C2 at 17-7. As Colorado Elite goes back to serve. Trying to find some chinks in the C2 armor, and that's not going to do it. Lower panel serve. Point C2. Colin back to serve at 18-7. Colin may be the most versatile server on the team or in the country. He can topspin, he can float, he can jump float, he can hybrid. Short, long, in the middle. Sakai with a tip off the net and down. 19-7. Riley and Big Country team up for a block there. I think Country got the most of that. It's so funny seeing probably on the same side of the net with some of these boys he's been battling for years. I'm not saying it's going to be an if you can't beat him, join him scenario, but if the shoe fits, hope they don't notice when you take them. Shot over. I don't know. Total not liking something. Wasn't sure if it was the overset attack or not. It didn't seem to be, although that's not my favorite play in the world. But hey, no one really cares about my opinion. 23 serving 7. Colin. Bring in some heat. That's dumped back. Recycle coming. Going for high hands or going for the fan base. I'm not sure which. They got one but not the other. Point C2. Set point for Colin. Serving since the early days of the Ford administration. And there's one more. I don't know how that got snuck through, but it did. Nice play for Colorado Elite. Although they've got a tough hill to climb, they've not been doubled, they've been tripled. 8 serving 24. And that is just a bit outside. That's not going to help the cause. Set 1 goes to C2, 25-8. Set 2 coming up.
Hey, how are you?
we're back. League commissioner stop out of chat. Set 2 here, 13-4 lead for C2 as they are continuing to rock it out here in the McCormick Center. We are in the second of 3 matches, day 1 at the Chi-Town Boys Challenge. We were just talked about this time and time again. Nothing like starting the season with one of the top 3 tournaments of the regular season. Not sure if that was a square footage scheduling thing with the convention center or what, but most of these teams playing their first tournament of the year, and you're jumping right into one of the premier events. I think in years past we've kind of warmed up with a regional event and one of the point series thingies. But hey, why not? Go big or go home. Something. All right. So you can flood the airwaves with votes on whether you like the stony silence or like the miscellaneous ramblings. Rather a nice swing there makes it 15-5, 10-point lead for C2 Attack. They've got one more. The nightcap, 8:30 Central, 9:30 West Coast start for you Eastern Standard guys. That'll be against Academy. Oh, that did not go to plan. 6 serving 15 now. Got to recharge some batteries in between games. Make sure we don't run out of juice in game 3. That's always that was off camera, but the backhand by your broadcaster was nothing short of amazing, keeping that ball from going into a different court. I think I just blew out a rotator cuff, patting myself on the back, but I'm going to stand by it. Backhand fisty. Right to the defender. Oh, kept alive. Ladled almost over. So close, and yet so far. 8 serving 15, what started out as a not great pass, had a chance of being saved. Ball on, ball on! Replay, 8 serving 15. Swing, but a lob and lefty. That's recycled and ladled over for the score. C2 Attack with the point. In other sports news, the Harvard Crimson's in action today. I have not heard how they fared, but we will pass that along in the next match. As I expect to have some nice up. Riley showing some defensive range. His mom will be so proud. There's another nice up and a good touch on the second contact, but alas, askew and on towards the adjoining court. Colin and Pono doing some kind of interpretive dance. The R1 is calling over the R2 to ask for an interpretation on the interpretive dance. But apparently she was nonplussed. And now Colin over to reiterate the C2 attack position that she muffed the call. Which should only endear her to our cause. Only my second match with the team, so I don't want to be too far out of line here, but I would point out that we are leading 16-9.
Hey, how are you?
What's going on? You guys over on 3? You on court 3?
Yeah.
Check that out. All right. I'd probably have more passion if not for the fact that the issue at hand has an obscure genesis. I have no idea what we're arguing about. Well, the ball never lies. Actually, in my experience, the ball is in fact a lying sack of dog excrement, but we're not going to talk about that right now. 17-9, Colin back to serve. Stuff down. And a lift, I believe. C2 has doubled him up 18-9. Collins still kicking it. Arm like a whip. Riley, I don't know if that was a fake or just a late decision, but looked for all the world like he was going to two-hand that up in the general direction of the setter, and at the last possible section pulled the ripcord and bailed out of that. And it landed several microns out of bounds. Hey man, what's happening? Yes. This one is closer. That tells you what you need to know.
It's like close work.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the one team.
No. Academy, who we play next, I think. There was a 20-something seed in this thing.
Really?
I think so, yeah. And only thing I can think of, we haven't played any tournaments yet, but a lot of teams haven't. But I think because they didn't go to AAUs last year, maybe that was part of the deal. I don't know. I don't know if they're playing with a chip on their shoulder or they don't even care now. But it's been a pretty fluid. Oh. All right. Timeout on the floor. Rampage has continued. As Rampage's will. As the teams break huddle, 21-9 lead for C2 and Colin. Still serving. Nice block, kept alive, but only briefly. 22-9. As C2 closing in on the sweep here in the second of 3 matches today in pool play at the McCormick Center. Would have loved to have been morning pool and been down the block at Soldier Field for the rugby scrum. The All Blacks versus Ireland. Would have been nothing short of epic. So to see some of those boys in action in Johannesburg a few years back. Pretty cool. Points. Colorado Elite, they trail by 13, 10-23. We're joined in the booth by none other than John Labreche.
Terry.
John? Oh, just a bit outside. Jakai with a nice pass, though, and alas, he is not actually in.
I think the replays we showed that was in, and that was from outside interference.
Yes.
These up refs.
Match point. Boom, nice swing there, and that'll do it. C2 with another sweep. We'll be back in about an hour. One match to sit, and then we'll play the third and final of the night. All right, until then, we're signing off in the McCormick Center. C2, attack! Again, I don't know if we're supposed to say attack every time or not.
C2 something.